This conference will now be recorded.
Hello students. So now we are preparing for NEET 2024. Already we have finished 2 chapters. The main points of the chapter and previous year questions we have covered. Now we are moving to the 3rd chapter, Plant Kingdom. And the first 2 chapters, which are the general chapters of 11th and 12th biology that we have finished. Now we are moving to the botany part. First we will finish up the botany part so that you will get a continuity of this chapter. So in this, for NEET exam, what and all you have to learn in this chapter is salient features and classification of plants into major groups. So plants, they have divided into algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. So first, based on all these things, the salient features of these major groups we need to study, then examples we need to study. So here we have mentioned like 3 to 5 salient features and the distinguishing features. Then from each category you need to learn 2 examples. Okay, so that's how you need to learn that. So let's move to the chapter. So you know that kingdom Plantae, okay, so in kingdom Plantae, all the multicellular eukaryotic plants are placed. Okay, multicellular eukaryotic plants are present in this, and all these plants, they are autotrophic. These plants are autotrophic. What do you mean by autotrophic? They will manufacture their own food, right? They have the capacity to manufacture their own food. And the groups, the groups of plants which are included in kingdom Plantae, that is kingdom Plantae, that consists of 5 major groups. First one is algae. Second one is bryophyta. Third one is pteridophyta. Fourth one is gymnosperms. And fifth one is angiosperms. I'll just go through all the points of this chapter or all the classifications because it will be easy for you to answer the previous year questions. So just I'll go through the highlighted points. So let's go to algae. The first one, algae. So here we have already told kingdom Plantae, that is having different plant groups. First one is algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms and angiosperms. In the same order you can learn, because from algae, when we are moving to bryophyta, you can see some more advanced features, and moving to pteridophyta, that advancing features you can see when you're reaching angiosperms, that is the most advanced ones. Okay, so first let's go to algae. Here the study of algae, that is called as phycology. So phycology is the study of algae. So study of algae is called as phycology, and father of phycology Father of phycology, Fritsch. Then who is father of Indian psychology? Sorry, study of algae, that is called as phycology, and father of phycology, Fritsch, and father of Indian phycology. Who is father of Indian phycology? M.O.P. Iyengar. Okay, so these 2 points you need to learn. See, only the important points I'm mentioning here, and you have to read in detail again. So at least you should remember these points. So the main points I'm mentioning here. So phycology, that is study of algae, and father of phycology is Fritsch, and father of Indian phycology, that is M.O.P. Iyengar. And next we need to learn about, we're going to learn some important points of algae. Actually, this algae, where you can see this algae? Algae you can see both in fresh water and marine water. Freshwater forms and marine water forms are there. Okay, in fresh water and marine water, both places you can see both forms are there. And algae, these are found in many forms, like filamentous forms are there. Filamental forms are there. Then colonial forms are there. So algae, they are found in many forms, like colonial forms and filamentous forms and all. Then another point which we need to mention, this actually in algae you can see some kind of mucilaginous sheath, right? Algae are surrounded by, they're surrounded by mucilaginous sheath, right? Some kind of mucilaginous sheath is present, and below this sheath, below this, what is there? Below this sheath, cell wall is present. Where cell wall is present? Below the mucilaginous sheath, you can see the cell wall, and that is made up of cellulose and pectin. This cell wall, that is made up of cellulose and pectin, but that is mainly made up of cellulose, galactans, mannans, and minerals like calcium carbonate. Okay, so it is mainly, it is made up of cellulose and pectin, and we can say what and all? Cellulose is there, then galactans, mannans, then minerals like calcium carbonate, right? Then the other points which we need to mention, like structure. Structure of this algae, actually the basis of the structure, we can say this algae, they are thalloid. They have thalloid structure, and thalloid structure in the sense this plant body is not differentiated into root, stem, and leaf. Not differentiated into root, stem, leaves, right? So the plant body is not divided into root, stem, and leaf. Then here tissue system is also absent. Tissue system is also absent in algae. Then here you can say about the nutrition. So these are the main features which you are mentioning while explaining about the group, like algae, bryophyta, where or maybe these features you should mention. So only the basis of nutrition here, you can say algae, they are photoautotrophic. Okay, they are photoautotrophic, and plastids are present. Plastids are present, and in that photosynthetic pigments are there. Plastids with photosynthetic pigments. Okay, so here on the basis of nutrition, algae, they are phototrophic and they have plastids, and in these plastids you can see photosynthetic pigments, and these photosynthetic pigments are also present in the plastid. Then the classification of algae, that is based on the pigments. Okay, so based on pigment, the classification is done. That means which all pigments are present? Chlorophyll A, and beta carotene. This chlorophyll A and beta carotene, these are universal pigment of algae. Clear? So here classification of algae, that is mainly based on pigments. Chlorophyll A and beta carotene, these are universal pigment of algae. Clear? Next, we need to learn about the reproduction. Here in algae, now we have learned about the common features, right? Then reproduction. In algae, you can see vegetative reproduction, asexual reproduction, and sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is there. Then asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. So these three types of reproduction you can see in algae. So let's see vegetative reproduction. This vegetative reproduction, that is by fragmentation. Okay, vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. So what do you mean by this fragmentation? Here you can see the filaments, right? Here you can see the filaments of algae. So here these filaments are breaking down into small pieces, and each small piece will form a new filament, or it will become a complete algae. Okay, so that is called as fragmentation. So vegetative reproduction, by fragmentation, in that this filament, algal filament, is breaking down into small pieces, and each small piece is forming a new complete algae. Okay, so that is called as vegetative reproduction. Next is asexual reproduction. So here in the asexual reproduction, zoospore formation. Zoospores. See, the zoospores, they are formed in favorable conditions. Okay, during the zoospore formation, that is taking place during favorable condition. If condition is favorable, it will undergo zoospore formation, and all these zoospore condition formation, that is taking place in the favorable condition. Then another method, during unfavorable condition, how this asexual reproduction is taking place during unfavorable condition, aplanospores, hypnospore, and echinate. All these are formed during unfavorable condition. So during favorable condition, asexual reproduction will take place. It is taking place by zoospore formation, and during unfavorable condition, asexual reproduction is by the formation of echinates, eplanospore, and hypnospore. Okay, this is during unfavorable condition, and during favorable condition, how asexual reproduction is taking place by the formation of zoospores. Okay. See, this is the zoospore formation in Chlamydomonas. See, we said zoospore formation is taking place during favorable condition. So during favorable condition, through asexual reproduction, this Chlamydomonas, it is forming zoospores. You can see the zoospores. This is the parent cell, and this is working as a zoosporangium, and it will release these zoospores during favorable condition. And during unfavorable condition, we said in algae, how asexual reproduction is taking place during unfavorable condition by hypnospores, eplanospore, and echinate. Okay. Next, we need to tell about which one? Now we have told about the vegetative reproduction, asexual reproduction, and the third one is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction. So let's see the sexual reproduction. In the sexual reproduction, male sex organ is called as antheridium. That is called as antheridium. So in the sexual reproduction, male sex organ is called as antheridium, and female organ, that is called as oogonium. Okay, so male sex organ is called as antheridium, and female sex organ is called as oogonium. And the sex organs of algae, one important point you need to remember, sex organs of algae, they are unicellular. They are in unicellular condition, and they are jacketless. They are jacketless, and they are unicellular. But here one exceptional case is there. In this exceptional case, you can see the green algae, Shara. This green algae, this is a green algae. In this sex organ, that is multicellular. Generally, the sex organ of algae, that is unicellular, and they doesn't have jacket, or they are jacketless. But exceptional case, in the case of Chara, that is called as stonewort. Okay, this is called as stonewort, and in this sex organ, that is multicellular, and it is jacketed. Okay, this is multicellular, and it is jacketed. And here another point which you need to mention is male sex organ of this Chara, that is called as globule, and female sex organ, that is called as nucleus. Okay, globule and nucleus. See, and generally in algae, this plant body of algae, generally we can see the plant body of algae that is haploid, right? So here, sexual reproduction, how it is taking place? Sexual reproduction that is taking place through zygotic meiosis. Zygotic meiosis. Okay, through that sexual reproduction is taking place. So their life cycle that is haplontic. Haplontic life cycle. Okay, but in brown algae, see, here don't get confused. Whatever you're learning, some exceptional cases also will be there. So here in brown algae, you can see diploid. Diploid life cycle, you can see. Like for example, fucus in that life cycle is diplontic. And here one, don't get confused, this sexual reproduction that is of three types. See, hereafter we'll be continuously using this word, so to avoid that doubt, isogamous is there, anisogamous, then oogamous. These are the three types of sexual reproduction. See, this isogamous you can see in Chlamydomonas, then Ulothrix, Ectocarpus, Spirogyra, Cladophora. In all these you can see isogamous. Then anisogamous sexual reproduction that you can see in Chlamydomonas and Brownie. Then oogamous that you can see in Chlamydomonas coccifera, then in Volvox, in Sargassum, and in Chara you can see this oogamous type of sexual reproduction. Okay, and here some special points which we need to note down is Chlamydomonas. This shows complete evolution of sexual reproduction. Okay, this shows complete evolution of sexual reproduction. And one more point, another point which you need to learn is Chlamydomonas dibarianum. Note down these things. These are important points. Chlamydomonas dibarianum. In this gametes, they are flagellated and they have similar size. Similar size and flagellated gametes you can see. Okay. Then another point, Chlamydomonas brownie, in this gametes are motile and they are dissimilar in size. See, in different species, we can say different types here. All are Chlamydomonas genus, but species is different. Chlamydomonas brownie. In that, motile gametes you can see. So these names you need to by heart. Okay, in Chlamydomonas brownie, you can see motile gametes and dissimilar. Okay, here Chlamydomonas dibarianum, you can see similar size and flagellated gametes, right? So this is produced by isogamy. Okay, here dissimilar size but gametes are motile. This is by anisogamy. Okay, and most of the species of this Chlamydomonas that shows isogamy, most of the species. But here anisogamy, in which one you can see Chlamydomonas brownie. Then in Spirogyra you can see gametes are non-flagellated. That means they are non-motile. Non-motile gametes. That means they are non-flagellated. So they are non-motile and they are similar in size. So it is isogamy is done there. So they have similar size, right? Then cladophora. In cladophora, what you can see, cladophora actually, this is green algae, and in this one you can see the isogametes, they are biflagellated. Biflagellated. So biflagellated isogamous green algae. In that isogametes you can see, and all isogametes, these are biflagellated. So that you can see in cladophora. Next in Eudorina. Eudorina, that is coming under green algae. So Eudorina, which is coming under green algae, here anisogamy. That means gametes are of different types and the fusion between these two gametes will take place, and these gametes are dissimilar in their size. Okay, so anisogamy is taking place. And next point that is also very important. So these are the extra points. Next, what I'm going to say is this: based on their photosynthetic pigments, this algae are classified based on photosynthetic pigment. So based on the photosynthetic pigment, mainly this algae, they are classified into different types. And here, in addition to that, cell wall composition and the stored food, that is also considered for the classification. Okay, so algae that is divided into several categories, like first one, chlorophyceae. Okay, chlorophyceae, they are green algae, they have chlorophyll pigment. Second one is phaeophyceae. Phaeophyceae, they are brown algae. Brown algae. And the third type, that is rhodophyceae. Okay, rhodophyceae, that is red algae. See this chlorophyceae, chlorophyll, that is for synthesis. So you can remember chlorophyceae, uh, they have chlorophyll, so they're green algae and they can synthesize food. So here chlorophyceae, they are green algae, and rhodophyceae red algae, R. Rhodophyceae red algae. So you can remember that in that way, both the starting letters, both are rhodophyceae, red algae. Then phaeophyceae, that is the another one, the last one, the brown algae. Okay, so here we are learning about chlorophyceae, then phaeophyceae and rhodophyceae. So let's see chlorophyceae first. Chlorophyceae. Okay, chlorophyceae, just now I said what is there? That is green algae. Chlorophyceae are green algae. See, this green algae, they are the most advanced algae. Most advanced one. Green algae, they are the most advanced algae. And this green algae, they are the ancestors of the higher plants. Like that it is believed. Okay. It's believed that they are the ancestors of higher plants. It's believed like these green algae, they are the most advanced algae, and it is believed that these green algae are the ancestors of the higher plants. Then about the habitat, when we are saying about the habitat, here you can see they are this green algae, they are cosmopolitan in nature. Cosmopolitan. Then about the structure, when we are saying about the structure, you can see usually they have a rigid cell wall. Green algae, they have a very rigid cell wall, and this is made up of cell wall, which is made up of cellulose and pectin. And here the inner layer, this is the inner layer. Inner layer is cellulose and outer layer is pectin. Okay, so here green algae, they are cosmopolitan in nature, and if they are structure, if their structure we are considering, you can see a rigid cell wall which is made up of cellulose and pectin. The cellulose is the inner layer and pectin is the outer layer. Clear? So it's made up of inner layer of cellulose and outer layer of pectose. And this green algae, what about green algae we are learning now? So these green algae, they are found in many forms. Green algae are found in many forms. Which are they? Unicellular forms are there, colonial forms are there, multicellular filamentous forms are there, multicellular thalloid forms are there. So let's see one by one. First one is unicellular forms. Unicellular. Okay. So this unicellular forms, you can see example Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas, these are unicellular ones and they are motile unicellular algae. Unicellular forms and they are motile. So these are the motile unicellular algae, and this algae, how we said it is motile, how it is moving? Moving with the help of flagella. So with the help of this flagella, it is moving. So Chlamydomonas, that is motile unicellular algae, and this algae moves with the help of flagella. Okay, that's one example. And another one we need to tell, that is chlorella. Chlorella, this is unicellular algae, but it is non-motile. Unicellular, but non-motile. Okay. So here, while learning about green algae, many forms you can see, unicellular forms are there, multicellular forms are there. So here, first unicellular forms you are learning. One is unicellular motile form, another one unicellular non-motile form. So here, Chlamydomonas is unicellular motile form, and that is moving with the help of flagella. Here, next example 2, that is Chlorella. Chlorella is also unicellular, but it is a non-motile form. That is a non-motile unicellular algae. Then third one, that is Acetabularia. This Acetabularia, here you can see this is the largest unicellular plant. So Acetabularia is the largest unicellular plant. So according to this five kingdom system, this algae that describes these conditions that should be placed in protista, but because their life cycle is similar to this green algae, that's why they are placed in green algae. So they are studied in plantae. Okay. So first, now which one? Unicellular forms. Unicellular algal forms we learned: Chlamydomonas, Chlorella, and Acetabularia. Okay. Next is colonial forms. Second type is colonial. The green algae which is found in colonial form. See, some green algae, they are found in the colonies and they form colony of cells found in colonies. That forms colony of cells. Right. Then this number of cells which are present in this colony, that is fixed number of cells. Okay, there's a fixed number of cells in the colony, and the number of cells in any colony, that is fixed, that we can say, and the colony with fixed number of cells, they are called as cenobium. That colony is called as cenobium. Okay, example we can say the motile colony. For example, for motile colony, which one we can say? Volvox. Volvox is the example for motile colony. So now we have learned unicellular green algae, colonial green algal forms, then the multicellular filamentous one we are learning. Third one is multicellular filamentous. Multicellular filamentous green algae. So here in multicellular filamentous green algae, see most of the green algae, they are multicellular and they are filamentous. So example we can say multicellular filamentous green algae. Example is Eulothrix, then Spirogyra and Eulothrix. Next type, that is multicellular thalloid forms or multicellular parenchymatous forms. Thalloid or Parenchymatous. Thalloid or multicellular? Parenchymatous. Actually, here some algae that you can say, some algae, they are multicellular in their length and width. So here, what and all we need to tell? Photosynthetic pigments. Photosynthetic pigments. In this, chlorophyll. Chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. This is helping for photosynthesis. Chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Carotene. In carotene, beta carotene. That is helping for photosynthesis. Then xanthophyll. Xanthophyll, luteoxanthin and vioxanthin. This is yellow colored. Okay. And most of the members of green algae, they have starch, right? They have the starch, and that is like stored food, and somehow oil drops also. Okay, so this is in the form of a stored food. Then what about the asexual reproduction? We said already, zoospores, they are formed in the favorable condition, and hypnospore, eplanospores, and actinids, all these are formed in unfavorable condition. This we have already explained. Then the sexual reproduction. Actually, sexual reproduction, that may be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous, right? Then the economic importance. What about the economic importance? See, food. In this chlorella that is used as food, chlorella is a large amount of, it is having large amount of protein, right? Then antibiotic. See, from chlorella, this antibiotic chlorellin antibiotic is obtained from this chlorella, right? Then space research. Now, write down all these points because these are important points. Space research, like this chlorella that is used as a source for food and oxygen. They are using chlorella for this, okay, for food and oxygen. Whom? Space researchers. Then parasitic algae, about them, this uh, cephaloris, which is present, that is parasitically, that will be present in the leaves of tea plant, and that causes red dust tea. Okay, red dust disease in tea. Clear? So these are the important things which you need to learn about chlorophyce. Then chlorophyce, about green algae we have learned. Next is about phaeophyce. This phaeophyce, chlorophyce, green algae, phaeophyce, that is brown algae or seaweed. Brown algae or seaweeds or kelp. Okay. So where this will be found, this marine brown algae that will be present in marine water. So in marine water it will be present. That's why we are giving seaweed, right? So what will be the structure? They are this marine algae or the brown algae. They are multicellular. They are multicellular and they have filamentous structure, right? They're multicellular and they are filamentous. Then they are the largest in size. So among this algae, they are the largest in size and largest brown algae. Largest brown algae, that is called as macrocystis. Macrocystis. cystis. This is the largest brown algae. See here, the plant body that is usually attached to a substratum by a holdfast. Attached to substratum. By which one? By holdfast. Okay. And that will be having a stalk. Okay, that will be having a stalk, right? And uh, that will be having a leaf-like photosynthetic part also. Leaf-like photosynthetic part. Okay, that will be having a holdfast, and that is having a stalk or stipe and a leaf-like photosynthetic part. That is called as frond or lamina. Okay. So because of this brown algae, they are called as leafy algae. Brown algae, leafy algae. They are called as, this leaf-like structure is there. That's why they are called as leafy algae. Okay. Example for this is laminaria. These examples are very important for this exam. Laminaria. There you can see a leaf-like structure like this, and here you can see the frond, then stripe, then hold fast. Here you can see hold fast. Okay, that's how the structure will be. And here, that vegetative cells they have a cellulosic cell wall, and usually that will be covered outside by the gelatinous coating. This gelatinous coating that will be having algin, gelatinous coating of algin. And in this brown algae, the protoplast that is having plastid. Protoplast consists of plastid, and which is having a centrally located nucleus. Okay. Then here about the pigments. About the pigments we need to learn, that is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C. Okay. And carotene, in this only beta carotene is present. Then what about xanthophyll? Xanthophyll, in this mainly fucosanthin is present. Fucosanthin is mainly present. And stored food, laminarin and mannitol. Stored food, which one? Laminarin and mannitol. See what you can do, make a table of all these things. So it will be easy to read. Laminarin and mannitol. And asexual reproduction is taking place by zoospores. Okay. And sexual reproduction. This is about asexual reproduction. Then sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, that is maybe isogamous, anisogamous, or ogamous. Okay. And among this laminaria, we said laminaria that is used as a food, and iodine and bromine, all these are obtained from this algae. Then about sargassum that is used as a food. Clear? So that's we need to learn about phaeophysi. So first one, green algae, then Phaeophyceae. These are the thing. And in the next class, we'll be learning about rhodophyceae. Rhodophyceae or red algae, that is little more important. You have some more examples and little more terms to learn. So that we'll be learning in the next class, rhodophyceae. Okay. That is also coming in algae, but that is some important points. So we'll learn that in the next class. Thank you.